A low humming filled her helmet, not from her suit's systems, but emanating from somewhere ahead. Sarah switched her helmet lights to low power mode, letting the strange bioluminescence guide her. The tunnel opened into a chamber that couldn't have been natural. Perfect hexagonal columns stretched from floor to ceiling, each etched with symbols that seemed to shift when she wasn't looking directly at them. In the center lay a pod, its metallic surface covered in the same flowing script. And inside, suspended in a shimming field of energy, was a being that changed everything Sarah thought she knew about humanity's place in the universe. Sarah somehow knew, was humanoid but clearly alien. Her skin had a translucent quality that revealed patches of bioluminescence beneath. Where hair should be, delicate tendrils moved with an unseen current. Most striking were her eyes. 3 of them, arranged in a triangle, each containing swirling galaxies of color. The alien's eyes snapped open, locking onto Sarah's. A voice filled her mind, bypassing her ears entirely. "You found me. Good. There isn't much time." Sarah's training kicked in. First contact protocols existed, but none covered finding an alien in suspended animation under Mars' surface. "I'm Sarah Chen, Chief Engineer of the human mining operation above. Can you understand me?" "Yes, your language patterns are accessible. I am Naira, lead researcher of the Concordiate. And you, Sarah Chen, have just become the most important human in your species' history." Sarah's hand instinctively went to her emergency beacon. "Why's that?" "Because in approximately 47 of your days, an armada will arrive in your solar system. The hegemony believes your species too dangerous to allow into the galactic community. They come to ensure humanity never leaves its cradle." The chamber's temperature seemed to drop. "Why are you telling me this? Why were you here?" Naira's form flickered within the pod. "My team and I came to study your species to prove you deserved a chance. The others didn't survive the hegemony's first attempt to stop our research. This stasis pod preserved me, waiting for someone with the right combination of curiosity and courage to find me." Sarah's mind raced with implications. How can I possibly help against an alien armada? Alone, you cannot. But I possess knowledge, technologies your species hasn't discovered, allies who oppose the hegemony's expansion. Together, we might give humanity a fighting chance. If you're willing to trust me. Through her visor, Sarah studied the alien's eyes. In those swirling depths, she saw intelligence, determination, and something else. Hope. The same hope that had driven humans to reach for the stars. "Control's going to want proof," Sarah said, already knowing she'd made her decision. "They will have it. But first, you must help me out of this pod. My muscles have atrophied from stasis. The hegemony sensors will detect its deactivation. We'll have hours at most before they investigate." Sarah reached for the pod's surface, her fingers finding indentations that seemed made for human hands. "Just so we're clear, you're asking me to help you escape, possibly commit treason by hiding your existence from my superiors, and then somehow help organize Earth's defense against an alien invasion." "Precisely." A hint of amusement colored the mental voice. "I believe you humans have a saying. Go big or go home." Sarah laughed despite herself. "That we do." Her fingers pressed into the indentations. The pod hummed to life, its surface growing warm beneath her touch. "Well then, Naira of the Concordiate, welcome to Mars. Let's go save the world." "Worlds," Naira corrected as the pod began to open. "Let's go save worlds. Would you like me to continue with part 2? Sarah's rover cut through the Martian night, kicking up clouds of red dust in its wake. In the passenger seat, Naira's luminescent skin cast a soft glow throughout the cabin. They'd managed to smuggle her out of the mining complex by hiding her in a cargo container, but that was the easy part. "You're sure about these coordinates?" Sarah asked, checking the navigation system again. They were well beyond any mapped territory now. "The sanctuary lies ahead," Naira's thoughts echoed in Sarah's mind. "One of many hidden throughout your solar system. places where those who oppose the hegemony can find refuge. The rover's headlights illuminated a sheer cliff face. Sarah was about to question the directions when Nara raised her hand. The rock face shimmered, revealing a hidden entrance perfectly sized for their vehicle. Holographic camouflage, Sarah whispered, impressed. How many more surprises are you hiding? More than I can count. Fewer than we'll need. The tunnel sloped downward, its walls lined with the same crystalline formations Sarah had seen in Nyara's chamber. After several minutes of descent, the passage opened into a vast cavern that took Sarah's breath away. A city sprawled before them, its architecture a blend of organic curves and crystalline geometries. Buildings seemed to grow from the cavern floor like giant minerals, their surfaces alive with the same bioluminescence that marked Nyara's people. But it wasn't just one species living here. Sarah counted at least a dozen different types of beings moving through the streets. How long has this been here? Under our feet. This colony was established 3 of your Earth decades ago, when the hegemony first began its expansion into this sector. We are not the only ones who saw humanity's potential, and the threat that potential posed to the hegemony's power. A group of beings approached their rover. Some floated, others walked on various configurations of limbs, but all moved with purpose. Sarah recognized the look in their eyes. These were refugees, survivors. They're all hiding from the hegemony. Not hiding. Preparing. Each species here represents a civilization that refused to bow to hegemony rule. Some, like my people, were nearly wiped out. Others escaped with enough of their population and technology to make a difference in the coming war. Sarah parked the rover, her mind struggling to process the implications. Why choose Earth? Why risk everything to help us? A tall being with crystalline skin stepped forward, extending what appeared to be a grating appendage. Nyara's voice translated in Sarah's mind. Coordinator Vex leads this colony. He and the others saw in humanity what I discovered in my research, an unprecedented capacity for adaptation and innovation. Your species accomplished in centuries what took others millennia. The hegemony fears this potential. We hope to nurture it. The coordinator's crystalline form resonated, producing harmonics that Nyara translated. Welcome, Sarah Chen of Earth. You stand in the Hall of Convergence, where the future of galactic civilization may well be decided. Sarah stepped out of the rover, her mining suit feeling suddenly inadequate among these advanced beings. I'm just an engineer. What can I possibly offer? The coordinator's surface rippled with what might have been amusement. You humans always underestimate yourselves. Show her, Nyara. They led Sarah to a central chamber dominated by a holographic display of the solar system. Red markers indicated hegemony fleet movements, dozens of them, approaching from multiple vectors. The hegemony believes they face a single primitive species, Nyara explained. They don't know about this colony, about the technologies and knowledge we've gathered. Most importantly, they don't know about humanity's greatest weapon, which is your ability to take disparate pieces and create something new. Look around you, Sarah. Every species here brought something. Technology, knowledge, resources, but none of us can combine them in unexpected ways like humans can. We need your creativity, your lateral thinking. We need you to help us turn these separate pieces into a solution no one expects. The coordinator gestured to a workshop area where various alien devices lay partially disassembled. Your species took radio waves and created wireless networks. You turned simple petrochemicals into a space program. What will you create with technology thousands of years ahead of your own? Sarah approached the workbench, her engineer's mind already cataloging possibilities. I'll need help understanding how these work, and we'll need more humans. Carefully chosen ones who can keep a secret, but have the skills we need. Already arranged, Nyara projected. Your friend Dr. Marcus in quantum computing. He's been vetted. The theoretical physicist, Dr. Rivera. She's ready to be contacted. We've been watching, preparing. Sarah picked up what appeared to be a power core, its inner light pulsing in sync with her heartbeat. The hegemony thinks they're coming to stop humanity from reaching the stars. But we're not just reaching for them anymore, are we? The coordinator's crystalline form glowed brighter. No, Sarah Chen. With your help, we're going to bring the stars to Earth. The only question is, are you ready to help us rewrite the future of not just one species, but all of them? Sarah looked around the chamber at the assembled beings, refugees, survivors, warriors, all waiting for her answer. She thought of Earth above, unknowingly on the brink of either devastation or transformation. When do we start? Would you like me to continue with part 3? The integration chamber hummed with energy as Sarah made final adjustments to the quantum interface. 3 weeks of non-stop work had transformed the alien technology into something entirely new. Dr. Rivera stood beside her, checking calculations on a holographic display. "You're sure this will work?" the physicist asked, her dark eyes reflecting the shimmer of quantum particles suspended in the chamber. "Theoretically, yes. Practically, we're about to find out." Sarah connected the final circuit, a hybrid of human ingenuity and alien sophistication. "Nyara, we're ready for the test." The alien researcher glided forward, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing with anticipation. The hegemony fleet has already established a quantum barrier around Earth's orbit. They believe it impossible to penetrate. They've never dealt with humans who understand their technology, Dr. Rivera said, initiating the power-up sequence. "We don't just adapt technology, we reimagine it." The device they'd created looked almost crude compared to the elegant alien tech surrounding it. Sarah had cannibalized parts from Earth satellites, combined them with Concordiate quantum processors, and added crystalline matrices from Coordinator Vex's people. The result was something entirely new, a quantum tunneling device that could punch through any blockade by exploiting a fundamental flaw in hegemony tech. "The hegemony's arrogance is their weakness," Nyara observed. "They believe their understanding of quantum mechanics is absolute. They never considered that a primitive species might approach it differently." Dr. Marcus rushed into the chamber, his tablet displaying real-time data from Earth's orbit. "They're tightening the net. 6 more capital ships just dropped out of hyperspace. If we're going to test this thing, it needs to be now." Sarah took a deep breath. Initialized the quantum field. The device pulsed to life, creating a sphere of distorted space-time around their test probe. On the monitors, they watched as the tiny craft approached the hegemony's quantum barrier. "Contact in 3, 2, 1. The probe hit the barrier and passed through as if it wasn't there. Cheers erupted throughout the chamber. Beings of all species celebrated together, their various forms of expression creating a bizarre but joyous cacophony. "You did it." Nyara's mental voice carried a note of awe. "In 3 weeks, you solved a problem that has stumped the greatest minds in the galaxy for centuries." "We're not done yet," Sarah cautioned, already making adjustments. "Getting a probe through is one thing. Creating a corridor large enough for ships is another, and we still need to coordinate with the other colonies." Coordinator Vex's crystalline form resonated with approval. "The other sanctuaries are ready. When you give the signal, we will strike simultaneously across the system." Dr. Rivera pulled up a new set of calculations. "The quantum corridor will only stay open for 6 minutes before the hegemony systems adapt. We'll need perfect timing." "And a distraction," Dr. Marcus added. "Something big enough to draw their attention while we evacuate Earth's leadership through the corridor." Sarah turned to Nyara. "An idea forming. You said your people can manipulate energy fields. Could you create a solar flare large enough to disrupt their sensors? Not alone, but with the combined power of all Concordiate survivors in the system. Yes, it would drain us significantly. You'll have time to recover on the journey to Haven." Sarah brought up a map of the sanctuary network. A hidden planet, deep in uncharted space, where the resistance had been gathering strength. "Earth's leaders need to see what we've built here. Need to understand what humanity is really stepping into." The chamber's atmosphere grew serious. Everyone present understood the stakes. This wasn't just about breaking a blockade. It was about changing the balance of power in the galaxy. What if Earth's governments don't agree to join the resistance? Dr. Rivera voiced the concern they'd all been avoiding. They will, Nyara projected confidently. Because you'll be the one presenting the evidence, Sarah. You who bridged the gap between our peoples. You who proved that humanity's greatest strength isn't your technology or your weapons, but your ability to unite different species toward a common goal. Sarah looked around the chamber at the beings she now considered friends. 3 weeks ago, she'd been a mining engineer. Now she was helping orchestrate an interstellar revolution. Begin the evacuation preparations, she ordered, and someone get me a secure channel to Earth's United Defense Council. It's time they learned who their real allies are. Dr. Marcus grinned. And their real enemies. The hegemony believed they could contain humanity, Nyara observed. Instead, they may have just guaranteed their own downfall. Sarah started the power-up sequence for a full-scale test. Above them, the hegemony fleet maintained their blockade, unaware that their impenetrable barrier was about to be breached by the very species they'd come to suppress. Let's show them why you don't corner a species that specializes in finding ways out. Would you like me to continue with Part 4? The United Defense Council chamber fell silent as Sarah finished her presentation. Through the quantum corridor, she'd brought Earth's highest-ranking military and civilian leaders to the Mars Sanctuary. Now they stood amid alien technology and beings, their worldview irrevocably altered. Admiral Chen, no relation, though Sarah wished she could claim otherwise, was the first to speak. You're telling me that while we've been preparing for an invasion, an entire resistance movement has been operating under our feet. Not just under Mars. Sarah activated a holographic display showing the solar system. Points of light marked hidden sanctuaries on various moons and asteroids. Each colony specializes in different aspects of resistance. Europa focuses on biotechnology. Titan handles weapons development. The asteroid belt colonies manage logistics and communications. General Santos leaned forward, her weathered face intent. And all of them are willing to share their technology with us. We've been sharing it already, Nyara projected, causing several council members to flinch at the mental communication. Many of your recent technological breakthroughs were subtle nudges from us. We needed humanity to advance quickly, but naturally enough to avoid hegemony suspicion. Dr. Rivera stepped forward with fresh data. The quantum corridor network is nearly complete. We can move ships and personnel between any sanctuary in the system, completely undetected by hegemony sensors. And beyond the system? Admiral Chen asked. Sarah nodded to Coordinator Vex, who activated a larger star map. Show them Haven. The hologram zoomed out, past the solar system's boundaries, through corridors of safe space, to a distant star cluster. There, orbiting a blue giant, was a planet that shimmered with artificial constructs. Haven, Sarah explained, is where the resistance has been building its strength. Ships, weapons, technologies, all contributed by species who oppose the hegemony. They'd been waiting for the right moment, the right catalyst, to strike back. And they think we're that catalyst. General Santos sounded skeptical. We know you are, Nyara projected. The hegemony's resources are stretched thin maintaining their empire. Their control relies on keeping species isolated, preventing exactly the kind of cooperation you see in this room. Humanity's greatest strength is bringing people together, finding common ground, creating solutions no one else imagined. Sarah brought up images of the hybrid technologies they developed. Everything in this room represents cooperation between species. Human ingenuity combined with alien knowledge has created defenses the hegemony can't counter because they've never seen anything like them. The council members moved through the displays, examining the innovations. Their expressions shifted from skepticism to growing excitement as they grasped the implications. How long until the hegemony realizes their blockade is useless? Admiral Chen asked. They already suspect something, Dr. Marcus reported, monitoring communications. Their patrol patterns are becoming more erratic. They know they're missing something, but their doctrine prevents them from believing a primitive species could outmaneuver them. Secretary General Wang, who had been quiet until now, stepped forward. "What exactly are you proposing, Ms. Chen?" Sarah gestured to the assembled aliens. "An alliance, formal recognition of the Sanctuary Network, full integration of Earth's military and scientific resources with the Resistance, and—" She paused, knowing the next part was crucial, acceptance of humanity's new role in the galaxy. Which is bridge builders, Nyara projected, innovators, the species that brings together the scattered resistance and forges it into something the hegemony can't ignore. Haven is waiting. Dozens of species are waiting. They just need humanity to show them how to work together. The council members exchanged looks. Years of military training and political maneuvering had prepared them for many scenarios. This wasn't one of them. "The hegemony won't just accept this," General Santos warned. "When they realize what's happening, they'll throw everything they have at us." "Good," Sarah said, bringing up designs for weapon systems that merged human AI with alien quantum technology. "Let them come. Every ship they send here is one less ship suppressing other worlds. And when they arrive," she smiled, "they'll find humanity has made some interesting new friends." Admiral Chen laughed suddenly. "You know what the history books will say. That the hegemony's greatest mistake wasn't underestimating our technology or our military. It was giving us exactly what we needed. A reason to unite not just Earth, but half the galaxy." Secretary General Wang straightened her jacket. "Ms. Chen, I believe it's time you showed us these other sanctuaries. If we're going to coordinate a resistance movement, we should meet all our allies." Sarah nodded to Dr. Rivera, who began powering up the quantum corridor. Around them, beings of various species prepared for transport. The network they'd built was about to grow exponentially. "Just remember," Sarah cautioned as the corridor hummed to life, "we're not just fighting to protect Earth anymore. We're fighting to reshape the galaxy." "No pressure," Nyara added, her mental voice carrying a hint of humor. "Would you like me to continue with the final part?" Multiple hegemony signatures detected. Dr. Marcus's voice echoed through Haven's command center. "They found us." Sarah studied the tactical display, watching as hundreds of hegemony warships emerged from hyperspace. After 6 months of preparation, the moment had finally arrived. She exchanged glances with Nyara, whose luminescent patterns pulsed with determined intensity. "Right on schedule," Sarah said calmly. "Signal the fleet." Around Haven, quantum corridors flared to life. Ships of every description emerged. Earth vessels retrofitted with alien tech, crystalline constructs from Vex's people, bioorganic ships of the Concordiate, and dozens of other designs representing species united against hegemony rule. 6 months of building the network, gathering allies, and preparing for this moment. Admiral Chen's voice crackled through the comm. "All battle groups report ready. Earth Defense Fleet standing by. Sanctuary network is green." Coordinator Vex resonated. "All colonies have initiated evacuation protocols." Sarah took a deep breath. "Begin Operation Shattered Chain." The battle unfolded across multiple star systems simultaneously. As the hegemony fleet approached Haven, quantum corridors opened throughout their empire. Resistance forces struck suppression fleets, liberation forces landed on occupied worlds, and communication networks that had kept species isolated for centuries went dark. "The hegemony's command structure is fragmenting," Nara reported, connected to the Concordiate's vast information network. "They never conceived of an attack on this scale. Their doctrine requires direct oversight for all military operations." "That's what happens when you build an empire on control," Sarah observed, watching as human-designed AI systems disrupted hegemony targeting networks. "You forget how to adapt." The space around Haven erupted in quantum fire as the fleets engage. Hegemony ships, technically superior in every way, found themselves outmaneuvered by hybrid vessels combining technologies they'd never seen working together. Earth's contribution. AI systems that could coordinate between different species' combat doctrines, proved devastating. Primary defense grid is holding, Dr. Rivera reported. Their quantum weapons can't penetrate the hybrid shields. Launch the disruption swarms, Sarah ordered. Thousands of tiny probes, built with combined human and alien technology, swarmed toward the hegemony fleet. They were simple devices, really. Sarah had based them on Earth's honeybees, of all things. But combined with Concordia energy manipulation and crystalline processing cores, they turned the tide. The swarms infiltrated hegemony ships through shield gaps, disrupting systems from within. Larger vessels began losing power, their crews unable to counter attacks coming from multiple technological paradigms simultaneously. Sarah, Nyara's mental voice carried urgency. The Hegemony Supreme Command is requesting communication. The command center fell silent. This was unprecedented. The hegemony didn't negotiate with lesser species. Put them through. A hologram materialized, a being of pure energy contained within an ornate mechanical shell. The Supreme Commander of the Hegemony Forces spoke, its translated voice carrying both threat and disbelief. What manner of deception is this? No single species could coordinate such an attack. That's exactly the point, Sarah replied. We're not a single species. Not anymore. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our weapons. It's our ability to bring people together, to find common ground between different ways of thinking. She gestured to the tactical display showing simultaneous uprisings across hegemony space. Your empire is built on keeping species divided, dependent on your approval and oversight. But you gave us something powerful when you tried to isolate us. You gave us a reason to reach out to others who felt the same way. The Supreme Commander's energy form fluctuated. You would destroy millennia of order for your chaotic vision of cooperation. We're not destroying order, Sarah countered. We're creating a new one. One where species work together because they choose to, not because they're forced to. Look around you. Every ship in this fleet represents a different civilization, a different way of thinking. And we're stronger together than any of us could be alone. The choice is yours, Nyara projected, her thoughts reaching everyone. Continue fighting a war you can't win, or help us build something new. The Supreme Commander's silence stretched. Around Haven, more quantum corridors opened as Liberation fleets reported success across hegemony space. The Empire's carefully maintained barriers were crumbling, not from external force, but from the simple act of different species choosing to work together. Perhaps, the Supreme Commander finally said, its tone different, it is time for the galaxy to evolve. Hours later, Sarah stood in Haven's observation dome, watching ships from dozens of species moving through space together. Nyara and Coordinator Vex joined her. What happens now? Sarah asked. Now comes the hard part, Nyara projected. Building something new always is, but humanity has proven remarkably good at that. Coordinator Vex's crystalline form resonated with hope. The hegemony believed they could prevent humanity from reaching the stars. Instead, they helped create exactly what they feared most. A galaxy where species stand together, where different ways of thinking make us stronger, not weaker. Sarah smiled, watching Earth ships fly in formation with alien vessels, their crews already learning to work together. Well, we humans do have a saying about that. What's that? Nyara asked. Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. The stars stretched out before them, no longer divided by artificial barriers, ready for whatever came next. And humanity, the species that had learned to bridge not just technologies but entire civilizations, was ready to help build that future. Together. The end.